Uh, Morning, peep and peepettes. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's finally thawing out because it looks like it's going to be a little bit warmer. This is a little bit different for me. I live in Grimsby, well, on Cleethorpes, Grimsby Road, just inside Cleethorpes, but Grimsby Cleethorpes. It's said before, it's one town separated by a crossroads, basically. And we have it's a depressed town. I'm going to do a video actually probably one day this week showing how many shops are boarded up and how many other shops that are open are just basically vape shops or barber shops or money laundering shops, if you want to word it correctly. So we have a high depression problem, especially amongst men, mainly amongst men over 45, because we used to be a massive fishing industry town. We used to have a massive fishing industry, and it's been in decline since probably late 70s, early 80s. It started to go into decline with the thingy war, the fish wars with I think it was Iceland, wasn't it? So we've got a lot of men over a certain age, unemployable, based on the fact that they had one career. When you lived in Grimsby, it was like if you lived in Yorkshire, you'd go worked out mines, down pits, or whatever. But when you lived in Grimsby, you grew up basically. Majority of men that were born, say, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, so on, they grew up to be fishermen, and that's all they do. I know guys now knocking about town that are still hard fucks in their 60s and 70s because of the work they did. But anyway, I digress slightly. And so the point is, we have a lot of mental health, a lot of depression, and Tony Blair's just been a bit of a prick and saying people are self-diagnosing themselves. Tony Blair's a knobhead. He does not deserve oxygen, as Andy the Cabbie says on YouTube. He does not deserve oxygen. He doesn't deserve time and space or anything. However, we also have a high suicide rate. This suicide is an awfully high. It's the main killer of men over 40, 45, I think, in the UK. I think it's, I can't remember the statistics. I'm going to tag Roy Compton. He'll put statistics on for me. He's a facilitator at an organisation I'm going to talk about now. We've had one suicide and one attempted suicide at a local train station in the past couple of days. And if you just go sort of 30 minutes up the road, you've got the Humber Bridge, which is another go-to place for suicide, because once you hit the water in the Humber, if you're saved, you're lucky. It's freezing, it's fast flowing. You could be 5 miles down, whichever way the tide's going, because it's an estuary thing, so it's a tidal flow. You can be 5 miles either way within a couple of minutes. It flows that fast. It's one of the fastest flowing tidal rivers in the UK, apparently. So, and it's really hard for men, particularly for men, because men don't have an outlet like women do. As a rule, women all sit around a table, have a fag or whatever, and they'll talk about shit. But men, as a rule, won't, because if you're in a relationship, if you're married, then you can't tell your missus that you haven't got the money for her to go and get her nails done because you don't want a mardy. And the pressure nowadays to have top-of-the-range stuff for your kids, it's not the kids' fault, it's a peer thing, isn't it? Oh, my mate's got this iPhone 14, so I need an iPhone 15, da-da-da-da. And you feel pressured into doing stuff. And if even if you're single, you feel pressured into going out with your mates, you feel pressured into doing this, whatever. And when it comes to it, men tend, most times I speak to people is for people to say, oh, it's friends go for a pint. Sometimes we talk about stuff, but mostly it's, oh, look at that bird over there, look at that. How's the football going? Fucking weather shit, innit? Da 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 da. And you never really get anything off your chest. Which is where this organisation, it's back to front, innit? Would be. It's Andy Mann's Club. I'm gonna. I'll show another leaflet as well. It's a men's talking group. There's, I'm not sure now. Again, Mr. Compton will hopefully put the details in comments. There's groups across the UK. It was set up about 2016, I think. Again, Mr. Compton, and it's a talking group. It's peer led. The facilitators are trained, but predominantly you don't need training to facilitate because, like I say, it's peer led. So it's you're not told what to do. You're not told what not to do. You'll go in with a problem and you've probably got a group of 10, 20 people and somebody will say, oh, I've had similar situations. Nobody ever says they get you or they know what you feel because they know they might know the problem you've got, but they don't know your outlying factors. So nobody's ever going to turn around to you and say, oh yeah, I know that, mate. This is what I did and it worked. What people say is, yeah, I've been through stuff similar. What worked for me was, or what didn't work for me was, and then somebody else will give something else and you go away, take a little bit of advice. Andy Mann's has a phone line. Or it has online. You can contact it. It's info@andymansclub.co.uk or www.andymansclub.co.uk, and that's Andy's Man. So it's ANDYSMAN Club. Andy's Man Club. You can find information online. Like I say, they've got Facebook groups across the UK. All sorts of groups, and I think it's important because, like I say, we've just had 2 suicides in Grimsby, or 2 attempted, one successful, 1 committed suicide, and it's quite funny actually. The term committed suicide comes from back in, I think it was like the 1800s or something. If you attempted suicide and didn't succeed, so to speak, you was committed of insanity and you was put into a loony bin, nut house, whatever. You know, they've changed. Don't get me wrong, they've changed now. They're not them, but that's what they was. So so the term committed suicide came from that. It came from the fact that if you attempted suicide and failed, you was committed to a nut house, classed as a loony. It's kind of a funny little quirk on it. Mental health's nothing to laugh about, but sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So yeah, this is going to go onto my YouTube. I'm going to put it onto my TikTok. I might even put it onto my Insta and other socials as well. So yeah, this is for the lads. The groups are 18 plus. You've got to be over 18 because some of the contents that are talked about are very deep, dark. There are the only rules is there's a few things that you don't talk about. One is politics, one is religion, one is medication, and I'm not sure. I think there's a fourth, and I think it's to do with incarceration. I'm not sure. Again, Mr. Compton will hopefully pinpoint all the details that I've asked him to. It's a blokes group. It's peer led. You don't have to book on. You don't pay nothing. You get teas and coffees and biscuits and snacks and shit. And like I say, these groups across the UK. There's over 100 groups. There's loads now. So don't listen to the likes of Tony Blair telling you, because what Tony Blair's done in his speech, where he's turned around and says people are self-diagnosing, what he's done is he's put people off actually thinking about it. They can be like, oh no, I'm going to look like a twat now. Tony Blair has probably killed, right? I'm going to put this out there. Tony Blair has probably killed a lot more people than would have killed themselves with that simple statement. I mean, Tony Blair, warmonger, blood for oil, war crimes, war criminal, and a good day to bring bad news is something you want to look into as well. An absolute prick. Tosspot. I don't know why he gets wheeled out every now and again. Mind you, something needs to distract from Keir Starmer, don't they? But that's another thing. So yeah. So I'm going to put this on my TikTok. I'll tag Roy. I'm going to put it on my YouTube. If any of my YouTube followers are on my other socials, you can have a look at it. Just like it if you do, because it just helps. But yeah, it was just something I've just been reading, and it's something that's prevalent at the minute. And it goes with one or two other issues that I spoke about. So, yeah, anyway, this is finished for my YouTube bit. Stay safe, look after each other, look after your families, look after your friends, look after your relatives, your elderlies, your neighbours, your elderly neighbours. Just look after people. If you walk down the street, you see an homeless guy, even if you don't want to give him a couple of quid, because some of them might be, you know, you might have opinions on what they'll do with their money, fine. Ask them if they want, if you've got a couple of quid that you'd give them, ask them if they want a cuppa. Or even if you just walk past somebody in the street, not even homeless, who looks a bit down, just smile at them and say, afternoon mate, morning mate, or just whatever. You never know. Just acknowledging somebody a little bit like that, right, could actually make that person swerve away from suicidal thoughts. A simple little, nah, them, you're right. All right, how you doing? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Even if it's just passing. So yeah, just look after each other, yeah. Take care. And as always, again, from my YouTube, as always, look after yourselves, because, like I say, you can't pour from an empty cup. And if anybody doesn't quite know what I mean with that, just hit me up in a comment, and I'll let you know, I'll explain it, let you know what I mean. All right, take care, stay safe, stay sound, stay loud, stay proud. Peace.